Tyr lost his hand. Directly or indirectly, Loki was always causing trouble in Asgard. One instance which cost the war god Tyr dear came as a result of the birth of the mischievous one's monstrous son, the wolf Fenrir. Now Fenrir was the offspring of Loki and Angrboda, the giantess, and in the beginning, when he was just a furry little cub with milk teeth, the gods found him funny and adorable, and were very affectionate with him. One or other of them was always to be found stroking or playing with him, or feeding him some tasty morsel. However, this did not last for long, because Fenrir grew at an alarming rate, and the milk teeth were soon replaced by great, needle-sharp white fangs, and the little ball of bones and fur rapidly became a great, black, heavily muscled wolf with the flickering black eyes of its father. Odin realized that something would have to be done when he was out walking in the forest one day. As he passed by close to Fenrir's den, he saw the beast, as big as an ox by now, stalk and kill one of the huge boar that roamed there. Fenrir leapt on the squealing wild pig and killed it with a single raking slash of his huge saber-clawed paw, and then gobbled it down whole, crunching up bones, hooves and tusks in the process. Odin consulted the Norns, and they prophesied that one day Fenrir would do terrible damage to the Aesir, and would gobble up the king of the gods himself. So he ordered the making of an unbreakable chain to bind the beast before it got even bigger and stronger. As Thor was off battling giants, the task of binding Fenrir fell to the god of war, Tyr, who, as well as being one of the bravest gods, as befitted his office, was also the most cunning, after Loki. Tyr carried the great chain called Loading coiled onto his shoulder, and said to Fenrir, "Ho, little wolf cub, I have a new game for us to play, a game to test your strength. Let us see if you can break this little chain that I have found." Now the chain was of toughened steel, with links as thick as a fat man's finger and thumb, but Fenrir by now was the size of a large shire horse, and he just snickered at Tyr's suggestion. The god chained the compliant wolf, who sat down unconcerned as Tyr looped the steel links over its great neck and around each leg. When the chain was securely fastened, Tyr challenged it to try and get loose. With a bored yawn, Fenrir lazily got to his feet and stretched. The chain snapped, links springing into the air and clattering noisily onto the rocky ground. Fenrir smiled at Tyr, saying nothing. Tyr went back to Odin and told him what had happened. So a second chain was ordered to be forged, one much thicker and stronger than Loading. This chain was called Dromi, and each link was as thick as a strong man's wrist. The gods smiled and laughed when they handled it, believing that not even a monster like Fenrir would be able to break it, however hard he tried. Tyr, though, had witnessed the ease with which the wolf had broken free of Loading, and was not so sure. But as there was nothing else to be done, he set off once again to challenge Fenrir to be bound. When the god found Fenrir, he was shocked to see that he had grown even bigger, and was about the size of a Viking dragon ship. The other gods accompanied Tyr this time to witness the binding, for there were those among them who, although not willing to get so close to the monster themselves, felt sure that Tyr had exaggerated or had not fastened the chain properly the last time. Fenrir eyed the chain thoughtfully. Then he allowed Tyr to bind him, just as he had done the last time. The great wolf sat chained and wriggled a little as if the bonds were uncomfortable, and then it lay with its muzzle on its paws, watching the gods' reaction. Some began to rub their hands and slap each other on the backs. The chain had held this time, and the threat posed by Fenrir was over. They had all more or less relaxed except Tyr and Odin, when the wolf let out a long, baleful howl and leapt to its feet, snapping the mighty chain in a dozen places as if it was so much glass, shaking its great body to sprinkle the rocky ground with the broken lengths of chain and shattered links. The wolf chuckled and wandered off into the woods to find something to eat. The gods walked back to Asgard, muttering and truly preoccupied, for Fenrir was a problem that already looked like being impossible to control, and he was getting bigger and stronger all the time. Now the greatest metalworkers and smiths were the dwarves, who lived in the kingdom of the bright elves, and since a chain fit to bind Fenrir could not be forged in Asgard, Odin sent Skimir to the dwarves to tell them of the problem.